Welcome to the Misfit Squad Podcast,
where we invite you to embrace your difference and to discover a spectrum of possibilities and change what's wrong about you into what is strong about you.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Misfit Squad Podcast. Today is an extra special show because it's our very first show with a guest. Patty is not only an expert, but she's actually one of our very good friends. So, Trina, what are we going to talk about with Patty today?
Today we're going to talk about bodies, because we love bodies and there's so much happening with bodies right now in the world. And Patty Alfonso is also known as the Orgasmic Body Whisperer. So she's got lots of amazing gifts, capacities, tools that she can share around bodies.
Yeah, so we're just going to have a conversation, see where it goes. We want to sort of know what she knows about bodies that's different and that works with what we talk about. And so we're just going to sort of have a conversation and see what shows up. All right, here she comes.
Yay, Patty. Patty's in the house.
There she is, unmuted. Fantastic.
Unmuted. I did it.
We're recording.
Hello, lady.
Hello.
Welcome, Patty. Thanks for being on the Misfit Squad.
Thank you so much for having me. I love you guys.
We love you too. Oh. So, we talk a lot about bodies on our show because one of the things that we also love talking about, but we know that you're super brilliant with bodies and very aware. And so we would like you to share a little bit of your tidbits and what you know about working with bodies. But if you would like to share a little bit first about who you are and a little bit of your background and what brought you into knowing more about bodies, that would be amazing.
Thank you, Trina Licious. As you all have heard, I'm Patty Alfonso. I'm known to many as the Orgasmic Body Whisperer. And I'm really, really passionate about empowering women and men and children to really live orgasmically by including their body in the creation of their life. And I'm very passionate about this topic because of my own disconnection with my body. I pretty much spent the first 30 years of my life completely just living from the neck up. There was nothing going on down here at all. And that was due to a lot of the abuse that I experienced in my family and a lot of just the enormous amount of energy that we are continuously subjected to and assaulted with in this reality sometimes. Things can get really, really intense. And I created this sort of tendency to just pop out of my body and just live from here up. And so in my own personal journey of reconnecting to my body, getting present with my body, allowing those delicious orgasmic energies to flow and to be alive in my body, well, I discovered, my capacities to be that and do that and create that with other people. So here I am now. That's my life, my 45-year life story in 2 seconds.
I just got the visual of being a bobblehead,
Yes, that was me,
Like all those people driving around in the cars, totally oblivious and
Totally.
Well, with all we kind of have a little bit of, I don't know, whatever you might want to call it, craziness, or maybe a little bit of insanity happening in our world right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what tools or what do you have to say about that that could create a little bit more ease for people?
Yeah, it's interesting. It is extremely insane at the moment. But the truth is that we're just going through a really intense period of change. And the reality is that we're always changing. right? And sometimes it's more intense than other times. And what I have noticed in this particular time in our culture, in our history, with everything that's going on, it's really been an interesting thing to navigate with my body. Our bodies are as aware, if not more aware, than we are sometimes. And what I've learned about bodies, and what I love about bodies, is our body's capacity for consciousness, our body's ability to contribute to you being more present with your body and with everything that's going on around you. Because our bodies function from total consciousness all of the time, they are more willing to be energetically aware of everything that's going on. So my body has been very loud lately, and speaking very clearly and very loudly about everything that's going on and all of the changes that like I need to be making in my life, because I'm also evolving into that next level of what is next for all of us, which I think is expressing itself globally right now. And that is the case, I think, all of the time as well. If we're really willing to look at it, we're always shifting and changing. And so in working with clients, what I'm noticing is, for example, I had a client who sent me an email, and she lives really close to where a lot of this intensity is happening. And she was talking about how she's very intuitive and very aware, but she had noticed that her body was coming up with like flu-like symptoms, and she was getting headaches. But the energy that she was being with that was if there was something wrong with her body. Oh, I have a cold now, or I'm not feeling well, or I have a headache, or like I need a lot of rest, as if there is something wrong with that. And if I were to contribute anything to people right now, it would be that however your body is expressing himself or herself right now, whether it is through headaches, like we had an earthquake the other day and my feet were really hurting that day. Like, this is all information that your body is giving you. Number one, information. Number two, it could also be change. Your body is changing. Your body is aware of the things that are happening, and your body is shifting and changing with all of the changing times. So if we could just get out of judging our bodies and the way that our bodies are changing or communicating, that would be like a huge thing in the world. Not every discomfort, ache, pain is a bad thing or something wrong with your body.
What? What do you mean? Oh,
it's not. Our bodies are constantly, continuously communicating with us. And the way that they communicate, first of all, it's however you're willing to listen, right? Because our bodies could communicate with energetic whispers of yumminess. But if you're not listening, your body's going to have to turn up the volume and be like, hello, hello, McFly, I'm talking to you. Oh my gosh, I don't know where that came from. I cracked myself up. Hello.
Well, that's what it feels like though sometimes, especially when you get headaches, migraines, like what you were just talking about, or you're, like I've had a lot of intensity, like a lot of low back, intensity.
Yeah.
And I've had to be aware of like, okay, so what am I choosing? What am I not choosing? And how is this showing up in my body?
Yeah. I've taken this time during all of this, and I've realized that I do this often, where I have to kind of go inward with myself, with my body, with my business, to sort of get present with the next evolution of what's coming. And it's really funny because my body, my belly gets really big when I'm about to like birth some new creation into the world. And like I start waddling around. I'm like, yeah. And then I get like really big belly and I'm like, whoa. And I look at my belly and I'm like, oh my God. Right. And so
side note, she may not mean birthing a creation of a child.
No. I'm talking about ideas and projects and things in my business.
And I just have to chime in and say, I was with Patty last week and personally witnessed the tummy and the waddle. And I was like, what is happening over there? You're not making that shit up.
And that's because right now I'm literally building this new creation in the business that I'm just about ready to launch into the world. And so my point with this story is that if we could all step into like the miracle that our bodies are, like that my body could change shape in that way to contribute to what I'm creating, is mind-blowing. And I was making a joke. I was saying, you guys will see like 2 weeks from now, it's going to be flat again. Like it's going to be, whatever, because I take care of my body and I work out and I do all the things. But I just knew that belly, that in that moment was like my body, like, yeah, we're doing this. We're creating this together. We are birthing something into the world. And this is what's going on. And I bring that up because everybody's body is different. And I just happen to know that about my body because when I have big projects, my body does that and she contributes in that way to remind me.
Can I pop?
Yeah.
I want to point a couple of things out that are really important in that. Number one, you're aware that that's what your body does because you've paid attention and asked questions and figured out how your body communicates with you. Number one. Right?
Yeah. You mean you
listened, yeah. But number two, I really want you guys to like pay attention to this. And if you have to re-listen or go back and rewatch the video, look at the amount of like total wonder and excitement that Patty had about getting a big old like I might be pregnant belly. Right? Because that's huge though, because that's about like what's your point of view about that? Instead of, oh shit, I just gained 20 pounds overnight. I better do a juice cleanse. I better work out 4 times a day. Yeah. Very different energies.
Well, okay, let me tell you about something else that happened with my body that it was similar. I was filming a documentary with a group of people for Netflix around pole dancing and bodies and all of that. And I had these boots on that had cutouts in them. And I was kneeling down on the ground and I was doing like kneeling hip circles or something like that. And my thigh was pressed onto the boot, right? Because my knees, I don't know if I'm explaining it, but whatever. And when I ran my hands across my thighs, y'all, I was like, oh my, there was so much like cellulite and like just ripples. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know bodies could do this. Like the change in the texture of my skin and like because of the pressing against I don't know what it was, y'all, but even as I think of it now, like I get full body goosebumps at that my body could create that amount of ripples within itself. I was just like, oh my God. And I guess that is the energy that I would like to contribute to the world around bodies. Like, what if everything that your body did was the most magical, amazing, curious, wondrous thing that you have ever seen in your life? Like, what would the world be like if we were all that truly in communion and happy and joyful with our bodies? To me, that's orgasmic living. Like receiving everything and being totally like, holy moly about it. Like explosion of sensation, no matter what is going on. And every time I run my fingers, I'm doing it right now. I don't know if you can tell. Around my thighs, and I notice like the dimples and the cellulite. I'm like, wow, you're amazing that you can do that. Because when I'm standing up, they're not there, but boom, magic, there they are. Oh my gosh. I mean, why not? What else are you going to do? Be mad at yourself? Be mad at your body? I mean, that's a choice, you know, if that's what you want to do.
It is a choice, but then that creates judgment, which ends up creating separation from yourself and your body, and probably from the world and everybody else.
Well, and that's the thing that's the moment where it changes into like a problem, right? Where then now the hurt really hurts, and you know, because we're also not saying that, like, you still feel like I have the foot pain thing a lot. Seriously, like I constantly, I actually can't really recall a time in my life when my feet don't hurt. Certainly never in my adult life.
Yeah.
And that's one of the ways that my body's communicating to me. And sometimes it still really bothers me. And there's lots of times where it like is just something that's there and it hurts, but it doesn't hurt, which I don't really know how to explain that in a way that would make any more sense. That doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it's the judgment and the really like strong point of view about it that really makes the intensity worse.
Yeah, and the conclusions that we come to.
Yeah.
Right? So, oh, you know, my feet hurt, therefore I must be getting old, therefore X, Y, and Z, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You know, I have this big belly, oh no, now I've gained all this weight, and now, you know, like it's the decisions that we make about those sensations that really lock you up and trip you up. Right. And that is where the energy of curiosity and wonder is super, super important, because if you're continuously curious about the sensations, notice I don't use the word pain. I don't think I have. I try not to. I try not to use the word pain or the word problem with my body. It is always, this is the sensation that my body is using to communicate with me right now. And if I can get curious with that sensation, like, oh, this is a new sensation coming up. What is this? This body, what are we doing? What's up? You know, if I can be really curious with those energies, then that changes it all on its own.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's like a huge tool for people, is starting to like really look at their body and what comes up in those sensations and be aware of the sensation versus already labeling it as a pain or a problem or a wrongness, because that right there starts to change that perspective, which allows, like what Patty was talking about, for it not to like solidify in your body so much. So like maybe you're aware and your head hurts, but then as soon as you claim and own it, then it turns into this massive migraine, versus if you actually acknowledge the sensations that your body is telling you.
And it's not always going to be the same thing. You know, your headache doesn't always mean X, Y, or Z. Sometimes the headache is indicating something different every single time. Sometimes your feet, you know, that like sometimes when I'm sitting, you know, cross-legged or something, and then I go to get up, then there's this intense sensation in my feet, and I'm like, oh, okay, what's this? You know, it doesn't always indicate the same thing over and over again. Like that's, I think, something that people also do with bodies. Like, oh, I don't know exactly, like if my left knee hurts, then it's about my needs in the future, and if my right knee hurts, then it's about my needs. I don't even know, because I don't pay attention to that stuff, but you guys know what I mean. Like, oh, if this happens, then this is what's actually going on, which is a big thing that occurs like in medicine nowadays. You know, if this, then this is the medicine we have to give you. If this, then, and whenever you do any of those kinds of statements, then you're locking in something that may not be, you know, what's actually going on. So I think that staying in question, staying in curiosity with your body is one of the most important things that we can choose with our bodies, especially right now, especially when things are changing and intense, and our bodies are responding. They're aware, they're present with everything that's going on.
Well, and I think especially now with everything going on too, like another thing is to actually really like have a more kindness for your body. And because I think the other thing we do is we judge and then we lock stuff in, and then we think that we have to make it go away, or we have to like power through, or at least that for me, for many years, I just had to like pull up my big girl panties and keep going, you know.
That's the thought, right?
Right. And what I find, especially in the last 3 months, is like, no, actually, today I'm going to lay on my bed and watch TV or read a book. And I'm not going to do those 8 things that I thought I was going to do. Yeah, exactly.
I find that when I give my body that, because my body actually, she does request quite a bit of rest and privacy. And it's been, especially during these times, like I really haven't been wanting to be online a lot or doing a lot of Facebook Lives or anything like that. I've really wanted to just kind of, again, go inward and have that privacy, rest, relax, up the nurturing of my body and me, you know, to take care of myself, to care for myself during that time. And I used to struggle with this a lot, like many, many years ago, but I would feel guilty because I was resting, or I would like, you know, make myself feel guilty. You know, I would just be, no, but there's all these things and I have to do. And that has shifted for me so much over the years, so that if my body needs to lie down and take a nap, then I'm like, all right, let's do it. And I find that when I can give that to myself and to my body without judging myself and without going into the guilt and the shame that goes around that, when I wake up or when I arise or when I come out, I'm like stronger, happier, I get things done quicker, you know, everything is lit up when I really give myself that space. And that time. So that's really important as well, is, you know, honoring your body and honoring what she's asking or what he is asking for.
Yeah.
Or what it is asking.
Yes, what your body is asking. So Patty gave us several different things. She talked about being aware of the sensations and not judging them as pain, but being aware, asking, what is this? And she talked about being kind, getting out of judgment. So with all of that, is there one more thing you'd like to say, or a gift or something you would like to give the listeners, as well as a way to connect with you?
Yes, thank you. I just want to button curiosity and wonder with your body.
Yes.
And I would love to offer everyone, I have a PDF guide and a free video series called The 6 Keys to Living an Orgasmic Life. And no, it's not what you think. So you'll have to go check it out and see what it's all about. But you can grab that at pattyalfonso.sexy/6keys, the number 6 keys. And I'm sure that Kim and Trina will put the link in there somewhere. And, you know, I truly believe that I truly believe that social cultural change can begin with the individual person. And that if we work on ourselves and get congruent with ourselves and with our bodies, that will shift and change and ripple throughout the world. So I especially believe that in the way that we treat our bodies. You know, if we treated other people the way that we sometimes treat our bodies, well, so if we could get, you know, in alignment, for some reason is the word that's coming up, with ourselves and with our bodies, everything in the world would change. So I'm excited to be a part of that change.
Yes. Having a body is part of the adventure.
That's right.
It is.
That's right.
So, well, thank you, Patty Alfonso, for being with us today. It's been a great conversation, and I'm sure our listeners will love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, ladies.
You're welcome. Thanks.
So welcome.
See you later.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the show.
Our target is to make your awareness easy to use and to acknowledge the power of not fitting in.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube and share it with someone you know.
Why fit in when you were born to stand out?
Embrace your difference. Join the Misfit Squad.